Well, I got a much sexier story for you guys. Woman with 2 vaginas.
Oh, that's one of my stories.
You guys have been perusing the same site this week.
So she uses one for work and one for personal sex. Bringing a whole new meaning to not mixing work with pleasure. This OnlyFans star has shared what it is like to have 2 vaginas, where she uses one professionally and the other for personal. Adult content creator Evelyn Miller didn't find out until the age of 20 that she'd been born with 2 vaginas and 2 wombs. The 31-year-old from Queensland, Australia, began working in the sex industry after a relationship breakdown and made sure she kept one vagina for use in her work and one for her personal life, which seemed rather efficient, she explained. I worked as an independent escort for about 7 years, traveling around the world. I was able to use one vagina for work and one vagina for my personal life, which made the work a lot easier emotionally and physically for me. After stopping doing that, she moved over to OnlyFans and began creating adult content, which earns her $75,000 per month. Evelyn puts
That's a good month.
Yeah.
That's a good month.
Evelyn puts her success down to having 2 vaginas, but says there are plenty of downfalls that she has to think about due to having them. They include putting 2 tampons in when she is on her period, having both vaginas tested for STDs when she visits the gynecologist, and even where her partner can ejaculate while they are having sex. Evelyn is pregnant with her second child. Speaking about ejaculation, she explained, theoretically, I could carry 2 babies at once if I wanted, but it would be hard for my body, so we have had to be careful in that sense. Sex in each vagina feels very, very different. I prefer one side, but it depends on the position and shape of the guy as to which one I choose to have sex in. Having 2 vaginas has made my sex life a lot of fun. We can have sex in one side and use a toy in the other, and there are all sorts of positions and things I can try. They both feel very different to me, so I've been finding out what I like and don't like on each side, she continued. I don't wish that I only had one vagina. Having 2 has made my sex life more fun, and I think it's important to embrace all bodies. We can all be so different. Evelyn explained how after visiting the doctor for a pregnancy termination at the age of 20, she was surprised to find out about her 2 vaginas. The splitting of her reproductive system meant that carrying a pregnancy full term would be risky, as each of her wombs is half the size of an average woman's, and there was the risk of a space being too small for the baby to grow. She decided at that stage to continue with her abortion, despite medics who tried to pressure her into keeping the baby. Working in the sex industry, Evelyn concentrated on the benefits of her 2 vaginas, an increase in interest and income until she and fiancé Tom, 32, discovered that she was once again pregnant. She said, I always knew something was wrong with me. I couldn't get tampons to work. I would use a tampon and I would still bleed. When I was 14 and got my period, there wasn't access to internet like there is now, and I lived on a farm with just my dad at that point. Then I had a pregnancy termination when I was 20, and in hospital after the procedure, I was told they couldn't find the embryo. After an internal exam, they realized it was in my other uterus, which I didn't know I had. It was a relief to finally discover why everything felt different. When I started having sex, it always felt different to me every time, and it wasn't until this termination procedure that I finally found out what was wrong. Then in 2020, Evelyn found out that she was pregnant again, and this time she planned to keep it. After explaining how she can't give birth vaginally, she went on to add the C-section experience wasn't as magical as I thought. I'm thankful that I have a great procedure and nothing went wrong, but I didn't love the feeling of pulling. Recovery was great and easy for me, though. It was also nice having the tough decision taken away from me in a sense because I had to have a C-section. I didn't have to make the choice for my birth experience, like whether I wanted to avoid intervention or not. I had my baby at 37 weeks in June 2021, a healthy little boy that weighed 5.5 pounds because he was growth restricted in my small uterus. Evelyn is now pregnant again in her right side and says that medics will be monitoring her with a C-section plan for 36 weeks.
Man, I don't have what it takes to be the child of a porn star. I'd have to learn to fight, I guess, like MMA training or something.
Yeah. But your mom is pulling in like $1 million a year.
Yeah, but that's not going to survive. That's not going to insulate you from all that stuff you're gonna hear.
What if you found out at your age now that your mom used to be a porn star and you never knew? She's just like, well, I wasn't super successful.
I didn't really have any plans on hanging myself.
But this means
There are, by the way, a lot of unsuccessful porn stars on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
99% of them.
but
Yeah, finding out just how much people give away for free.
because like we've talked about it on the show, so like I knew like there are a percentage of women that had two vaginas, but like I thought maybe like both openings were like external, but it sounds like she must only have like one, external opening,
Or,
but
like,
then
really
you go in and
close.
then the other one's opening's right there or something.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Because I was like, how could she not know she had two?
Right.
Otherwise, yeah. I mean, her husband, like, he's got his own private vagina. Like, he doesn't have to worry about sharing with all those guys. So I guess it works out. The whole situation is a good setup.
But
for
part
them.
of me is like, what the fuck is she doing to that other one?
Yeah, that other one's got to be torn up, I guess, right?
Yeah, I'll take the personal use one. The other one's a little too well used.
Yeah. It's just like one big floppy.
One's like has a much bigger opening than the other.
There's like a Miss Frizzle. She does the magic school bus into her vagina. One opening is huge. And one...
It is kind of weird though how she was saying like one side feels different than the other.
Yeah.
I wonder, does that mean she has two clitorises as well, or just one?
I have no idea.
Weird.
Yeah, that is fascinating. I'd like to know like how it works and everything. She gets two period. Like
Well, you know where you can pay to find out.
not willing to pay for this.
Also, she could have a 3P.
You might go look it up on like BitTorrent. Man. Get your VPN going.
I mean, she says she uses one for business, one for personal. Are you telling me she's never had, one guy on each side at the same time?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's twice the money at least. So I think she probably has done it. Had to have. She said she sticks a toy in one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. She was saying she sticks a toy in one side while like your fiance's in the other side or whatever.
Yeah.
Weird.
Let's have a quiet moment of reflection. Everybody.
Everybody picture in your minds.
It was a much easier story than the foam and the penis.